Hello everybody, American Patriotic Truck Driver. Trump in New Hampshire. The entire mainstream media with a backlash about how he handled the question of Obama being a Muslim. Well, that was actually a statement. And what will he do about the jihadist training camps here in America? Well, let's talk about Obama being a Muslim. Obama is in the least a closet Muslim because he was born to a Muslim father. In the eyes of Islam, that makes him a Muslim. He also grew up and went to grade school in Indonesia into a midrashah. That midrashah, you have to be a Muslim to be accepted. You cannot be accepted if you're not a Muslim. Not only that, you need to learn to recite the Quran in Arabic while you're in that midrashah. So, at least through grade school, it's a known fact that he was raised as a Muslim. Now, the question I have, when did he make his conversion? That's what I want to know. Can anybody tell me? Well, let's move on. I hear from Geraldo Rivera today on his radio show here in the New York area how absurd it is that there are jihadist camps in America. What a bunch of BS, he says. Now, we're talking about an investigative reporter here, okay? Somebody that knows his stuff. Well, Geraldo, he's just an opportunist and a sensationalist and will say only things that are to his agenda and convenience. Well, there are as many as 35 jihadist training camps in America spread over about 22 states. The headquarters is Islamburg in Hancock, New York. There's actually two other ones in New York State. Now, these campgrounds been around for well over 20 years. They are run and owned by Sheikh Ali Jalani, a Pakistani imam, who coincidentally also the founder of the Al-Fuqra terrorist organization, which have committed terrorist acts against Indians in Asia. Now, the Sheikh Jalani actually was in the United States in the 80s when he first founded them. He was sermoning in a mosque in Brooklyn on Atlantic Avenue, the notorious mosque where the first attack on the Twin Towers back in '95 was originated from. Since then, he left the US and he's not allowed to come back. But nevertheless, he has at least 35 jihadist campgrounds here in America. How do we know that? We know that through law enforcement, particularly the FBI. We have their names, we have their addresses, and anything else you need to know about them. The FBI themselves say that they are jihadist training camps. There are surveillance videos that show them training in warfare tactics. They have weapons and so forth. The one in Colorado was raided by local authorities. And when they found any kind of weapon, or almost any kind of rifles and guns you can think of, all the way down to bows and arrows. Not only that, they also found planned assassination of a local imam of a more so-called modern mosque that they wanted to take over, and he resisted. They actually told that imam that there's a plan to kill him, how they want him dead, in the kitchen, stabbed so many times. And he said that, thank you very much, but I'd rather live my life. Well, guess what? A few months later, they found him dead in the kitchen with stab wounds all over. So, they also are suspected of some murders and fire bombings. So there's no doubt that those are terrorist jihadist campgrounds in America. Any silly boy, even a truck driver like me, can find out. But for Ubaldo, that just was too much for him to find out. Well, anyway, I'm glad the left is pushing back on Trump in that matter. I hope Trump sticks to his gun and actually finds and learns about it and fights back, because this will all backfire, because facts are facts. And that's not me, that's not anybody else, that is law enforcement and the FBI. So, America, wake up and smell the jihad.